Imagine a yacht so massive it doesn't carry guests. It carries other yachts. A floating warehouse worth $30 million that exists for one purpose only, to hold the toys of someone so wealthy that they need a second yacht just to store their playthings. This is Hodor, and what's inside will blow your mind. What you're looking at isn't just any yacht. At 66 meters long, or approximately 217 feet, for those of us thinking in American terms, this aluminum catamaran is what the ultra-wealthy call a shadow vessel. But here's the twist that makes this story absolutely insane. This isn't even the main yacht. This is the support yacht, the toy box, the garage, the floating storage unit. And when I tell you what's inside, you'll understand why one yacht simply wasn't enough. But before we dive into this floating wonderland of excess, let me ask you something. What would you do with unlimited money? A Ferrari? A beach house? Maybe a private jet? Well, the owner of Hodor already has all that. And then he bought 2 super yachts. And here's the kicker. The yacht we're talking about today is just the one that carries his toys. Hit that subscribe button, because by the end of this video, you're either going to be inspired or absolutely outraged. Let's find out which one. So, who needs a 66-meter support yacht? Who is the person behind this floating spectacle that recently caused actual outrage when it docked in Boston Harbor, towering over every other vessel like a maritime skyscraper? His name is Lorenzo Fertitta. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Lorenzo and his brother Frank didn't just invest in sports. They revolutionized combat sports forever. In 2001, they purchased a struggling, controversial organization called the Ultimate Fighting Championship for just $2 million. People thought they were crazy. The UFC was banned in most states. It was called human cockfighting. Politicians wanted it shut down. Fast forward to 2016, they sold it for $4 billion. That's not a typo. They turned $2 million into $4 billion. That's a 2,000% return on investment. And that's the kind of money that doesn't just buy you a yacht. It buys you a yacht that needs another yacht to carry its stuff. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Fertitta's main yacht is called Lonian, an 87-meter masterpiece built by the legendary Dutch shipyard Feed Ship. It's one of the top 150 largest yachts in the world. It accommodates 12 guests and 27 crew members. It's valued at over $150 million. And yet, it wasn't enough. Because when you're living on a super yacht, cruising the world's oceans, exploring remote islands and hidden coves, you want options. You want adventure. You want a submarine. You want jet skis. You want helicopters. You want race boats capable of going 150 miles per hour. And speaking of those race boats, let me tell you about one in particular that perfectly captures the insanity of this entire operation. Her name is Rhaegal, and if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you'll recognize that as the name of one of Daenerys Targaryen's 3 dragons. Because apparently, when you're Lorenzo Fertitta, you don't just buy expensive toys, you turn them into works of art that pay homage to your favorite fantasy series. The Rhaegal is a Skater 438 catamaran, 44 feet of pure adrenaline, powered by twin Mercury Racing 1550 engines. This isn't just fast. This is 150 miles per hour on water fast. To put that in perspective, that's faster than the speed limit on most highways, on a boat. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Fertitta commissioned a custom paint job that took 1,500 hours to complete. 1,500 hours. That's 2 months of non-stop work by the artists at Visual Imagination in Missouri, who literally transformed this catamaran into a fire-breathing dragon. The entire hull features bronze-colored scales, dragon eyes, quills, and fire-inspired graphics that wrap around the boat. This isn't a decal. This isn't a sticker. Every inch was hand-painted over 4 months to turn this speed machine into a floating dragon. And Rhaegal isn't even the only Game of Thrones boat in the fleet. There's also Drogon, a cigarette 42X, painted to look like another dragon. The main yacht? It's called Lonian, another reference from the series. This guy is so committed to the theme that his entire maritime empire is a floating tribute to Westeros. The Skater 438 was even modified specifically for this build. The hull was widened by 12 inches to meet performance and comfort goals. The interior was completely customized with bespoke upholstery and carpeting. This is what happens when unlimited resources meet genuine passion. And all of that needs somewhere to live. All right, let's talk about what's actually inside this thing, because this is where your jaw is going to hit the floor. Picture this. You wake up on your main yacht, Lonian. You've just had breakfast, prepared by your private chef. The sun is rising over some crystalline bay in the Mediterranean, and you think to yourself, you know what? Today feels like a jet ski kind of day. So, you radio over to Hodor, your support vessel that's been shadowing you the entire journey, and within minutes, your crew has launched not one, not two, but your choice of 9 jet skis. 9. That's one for you, one for each of your guests, and probably a couple of spares just in case. But wait, maybe jet skis aren't enough. Maybe you want to explore the coastline on land. No problem. Hodor is carrying 4 Yamaha quad bikes, 2 side-by-side ATVs, and 4 trail motorcycles. That's right, this yacht is carrying motorcycles. And we're just getting started. Let's say you want to go fishing. Hodor has a 16-meter Hydrosport center console fishing boat with quad outboard engines, generating insane horsepower. Want to go fast? There's a 388 skater race boat on board, capable of hitting 240 kilometers per hour. That's 150 miles per hour. On water, that's faster than most people drive on highways. Need to get to shore quickly with supplies or a larger group? There's a 9-meter metal shark landing craft, basically a military-grade boat designed to hit beaches. Want something more elegant for a sunset cruise? There's a 7.3-meter Novarania catamaran tender with luxury seating. And here's where it gets absolutely wild. There's a submarine, a real, functioning submarine. Because apparently, seeing the ocean from above wasn't enough. You need to explore what's underneath, too. But Hodor isn't just about toys. It's about making those toys usable. This is where the engineering becomes genuinely impressive. Even if you're not a billionaire, the yacht features massive knuckle boom cranes and twin beam cranes that can lift and launch these vessels with precision. There's a petrol room storing 7,500 liters of fuel just for the toys. There's an engineer's workshop to maintain and repair everything. There's a dive room fully stocked with oxygen, nitrox, and compressed air for scuba diving adventures. And here's the part that actually matters for safety. There's an onboard hospital with a decompression chamber. Because when you're diving in remote locations, miles from the nearest medical facility, having emergency decompression capabilities can literally save lives. The yacht itself is a technical marvel, built by the Spanish shipyard Astilleros Armada and designed by the Australian naval architecture firm Incat Crowther. Hodor is based on a high-speed catamaran ferry platform that was stretched by 11 meters to accommodate all this equipment. The twin-hull catamaran design isn't just for looks. It provides incredible stability, which is crucial when you're launching and recovering boats in varying sea conditions. It's powered by twin MTU diesel engines, producing 3,328 horsepower each, giving it a top speed of 22.5 knots and a range of 5,000 nautical miles. That means it can shadow the main yacht across entire ocean crossings without refueling. The yacht carries 20 full-time crew members, housed in surprisingly spacious accommodations. Because here's something people don't think about. Running a vessel like this is a full-time operation. You need captains, engineers, deckhands, dive masters, toy coordinators, and support staff working around the clock. And you know what's actually kind of impressive? The interior design by Oliver Design isn't just functional, it's legitimately beautiful. The guest lounge features laser-cut Corian panels with Moorish designs. There's a fully stocked bar, comfortable seating areas, large windows providing natural light. The crew quarters are designed with respect. Spacious cabins with full-size bathrooms, light-filled communal areas. Because even in this world of extreme wealth, someone thought about making the working environment dignified for the people who make all this adventure possible. Now, let's talk numbers. Hodor cost approximately $30 million to build. The annual running costs? $3 million a year. That's $250,000 per month, or about $8,200 per day, just to keep it floating, staffed, fueled, and maintained. To put that in perspective, the median American household income is about $83,730 per year. This yacht costs over 35 times that now just to operate, not to buy, just to keep running. So, here's where we need to have an honest conversation. When Hodor docked in Boston Harbor earlier this year, bystanders filmed it towering over other boats, and the video went viral on Reddit. The comments? They weren't exactly friendly. This person could fund an entire state's education budget, one person wrote. What a disgusting show of wealth, said another. And here's the thing, they're not entirely wrong. The wealth disparity in our world is staggering. The cost of building and operating Hodor for 1 year could fund scholarships for thousands of students. It could build schools. It could provide clean water to communities. But there's another side to this story that's worth considering. The construction of Hodor employed hundreds of skilled workers in Spain. The 20 crew members have full-time, well-paying jobs in the maritime industry. The maintenance, the fuel, the supplies, all of that money flows through economies and provides livelihoods. The Spanish shipyard, Astilleros Armon, founded in 1951, has built hundreds of vessels, not just luxury yachts, but commercial ships, ferries, fishing boats, and naval patrol vessels that serve practical purposes. The engineering innovations developed for vessels like Hodor often trickle down to more accessible maritime technology. And there's this interesting detail. Hodor uses an IMO Tier 3 compliant exhaust cleaning system to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It's a small gesture in the context of such a massive vessel, but it shows some level of environmental consciousness in an industry not known for it. Is Hodor excessive? Absolutely. Is it necessary? Of course not. But it represents something fundamental about human nature. When we have the resources, we push boundaries. We build bigger. We explore further. We create things that make people stop and stare. The ancient Egyptians built pyramids. European royalty built castles with hundreds of rooms. Today's ultra-wealthy build shadow vessels. And in a strange way, Hodor is democratic. Not in ownership, but in inspiration. Millions of people around the world now know that vessels like this exist. Kids who see these yachts might be inspired to become marine engineers. Students might pursue naval architecture. Workers might aim for careers in high-end manufacturing. So, what's the verdict? Is Hodor a symbol of everything wrong with wealth inequality? Or is it a testament to human engineering and ambition? Maybe it's both. What I find fascinating is this. Lorenzo Fertitta didn't inherit his wealth. He and his brother took a massive risk on a controversial sport that most investors wouldn't touch. They worked to legitimize it, to improve it, to make it safe and respected. They built something that millions of people now enjoy. And yes, they made an absolutely staggering amount of money doing it. They chose to spend some of that money on floating toys. You might have made different choices. I might have made different choices, but here we are, talking about it, thinking about it, dreaming about what we would do with that kind of resources. Hodor holds the door to adventure open for those who can afford to walk through it. The rest of us, we get to marvel at what's possible. We get to appreciate the engineering. We get to dream. And maybe, just maybe, we get inspired to build our own versions of success, whatever that looks like. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's most unique vessels, hit that like button and subscribe for more content about the extraordinary machines and stories that push the boundaries of what's possible. Drop a comment below. Would you want a yacht like Hodor? Or would you spend that money differently? I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep dreaming big, whether that's a jet ski in your backyard pool or a yacht that carries 9 of them.